more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And I guess we're turning back the clock here on the State of the Saints podcast because normally I do the State of the Saints podcast live, but this time I decided to record it, man. And I do apologize, folks, but I did have something to do on this Saturday evening. So I did want to give you all some Saints news. On this edition, we're going to be talking about Michael Thomas. That's right, Michael Thomas. He is listed as questionable as the Saints take on the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football. And the question is Michael Thomas going to play in the Monday Night Football game against the Chargers? And first off, Who Dat Nation, I think everybody will agree that Michael Thomas is by far definitely a top 2 or top 3 wide receiver in the NFL right now. He's a two-time All-Pro. We know that he was top 10 on the NFL top 100, 149 receptions, NFL record. So the Saints really miss Michael Thomas. Okay, they really do. Okay, Michael Thomas' production on the field goes without saying. All right, but I look at this very, very simple. Michael Thomas is the future and the face of this franchise. All right. Like Michael Thomas is the guy years from now, I feel like we're going to be putting up there as the greatest Saint of all time. Like that's how much respect I have for this guy. So with that being said, I feel like it would be a horrible idea, absolutely horrible, if they decide to go and put this guy in a Monday Night Football game, and they have a bye week the following week. I mean, for 4 weeks he's been out. I mean, for 4 weeks, Michael Thomas has been on the sidelines. So if you just allow him to be out this week and he has a bye week, that's a total of 6 weeks, basically. So for 6 weeks, you have him closer to being 100%. I understand what the Saints try to do, right? They did the same thing last year with Drew Brees. When Drew Brees missed those 5 games, Drew Brees played against the Arizona Cardinals right before the bye week, and I really didn't understand that, and I definitely don't understand why they're trying to rush Michael Thomas back. Now, Michael Thomas, he's a proud man. He's a competitor. He's a warrior. If you go to Michael Thomas and you ask him, Mike, can you play? I'm pretty sure 100% he's going to be like, yeah, I can play. Look, you know what I'm saying? When can I suit up? But the Saints have to really be smart about this, man. This, once again, is the future of your franchise. And you do not want to jeopardize the future of your franchise trying to go up against the Los Angeles Chargers, man. Especially last week we saw in that Detroit Lions game, we seen other guys pick up the slack. We seen Traquan Smith step up. We seen Emmanuel Sanders step up. We know Alvin Kamara, he's on another level right now. We seen Latavius Murray do his thing. So I think the Saints can go one more week without Michael Thomas, okay? But there are also some guys that also listed as questionable. I'm looking at Andrus Peat. As y'all know, I mean, he had a high ankle sprain. Tight end Jared Cook, who had a growing pull. Marcus Davenport, there's a possibility he can play, a strong possibility. And also Marshawn Lattimore, who missed the game last week against the Detroit Lions. So Janoris Jenkins and Deontay Harris, they're going to be out of this game, okay? Deontay Harris, I think he have a hamstring issue, and Janoris Jenkins is dealing with a shoulder issue. But having Marshawn Lattimore come back and be a part of their secondary, I think that is a plus, even though the secondary played really well last week. Look, this isn't one of those situations where I would like to see this from week to week. Those guys did a good job, all right? It's almost like, you know, if one guy was supposed to work one night and he called out and then you called the other guy in, he picked up the slack, he did an okay job. It's kind of the same way. I don't want to see Patrick Robinson and P.J. Williams week to week I mean, it's just a matter of time before them guys get smoked like brisket and burned like a biscuit. That's just my honest opinion on that. So Marshawn Lattimore coming back, I think it will be a plus. And also, like, a couple weeks, I'm pretty sure a couple weeks from now, Janoris Jenkins is going to come back. But Deontay Harris, man, that's very questionable to me. I wasn't even sure how he got hurt. I'm not sure about that. But he is a guy that is really important to the special teams game. Man, anytime this guy get the ball in his hand, I mean, he can go yards. Like, he almost broke one last week against the Detroit Lions, man. If it wasn't for that, he got past all the defenders. All he had to do was get past that linebacker, and he would have been gone. But Deontay Harris, I mean, he's tough, man. He's physical. That guy's really small. We about 5'7", 5'8", about 175 pounds. But, I mean, he got a heart of a 300-pound guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is a small guy, but he is a giant. No doubt about that. So I'm very curious about what they're going to do with the special teams, man. We know that Alvin Kamara, he was the emergency return specialist, but we don't want to see Alvin Kamara back there doing those special teams, man. And we know that he was, he got the ball and he slid down and stuff like that because he understands the importance of his role with the team, man. You don't have Michael Thomas, you don't have Jared Cook, and he knows, man, I can't go down, man, because the team needs me. So I'm thinking maybe the Saints probably put Marquez Callaway back there. They probably put Beanie Fowler back there, one of those guys. But I would try Marquez Callaway, man. I mean, Beanie Fowler, he's been doing a great job on special teams, in my opinion. He's probably one of the bright spots on special teams, man. I mean, he was the guy that downed the ball at the 1-yard line, and he was the guy that caught that onside kick, I think, in week 1. So you look at Beanie Fowler, I mean, he does a really great job, but I would like to see Marquez Callaway take the place of Deontay Harris in the return game because, I mean, we all saw him do it at Tennessee, man, and he was really electrifying. So Marquez Callaway, I think you give him some extra work, back there, returning kicks. He has the speed, he has the elusiveness, and I think that he can do an okay job. So I think that the Saints need to try to go in that direction. As far as Andrus Peat is concerned, I don't think that you need to rush Andrus Peat back. I think the offensive line did a good job. Nick Easton, he did a really good job. I think the Saints got Hurst coming in. He was serving a 4-game suspension, so he's a guy that can be a part of the rotation. They just re-signed Will Clapp to the practice squad, which I'm pretty sure he's not going to be playing in this game. And also Cesar Ruiz, man, the more reps that he gets, it seems like the better he becomes. So, and Ryan Ramczyk, I didn't see him on the injury report list, so it looks like he's a go. And that is a plus because we all saw what the running game looked like when Ryan Ramczyk left the game last week with a concussion. So having Ryan Ramczyk back is a plus. Hurts him coming back, from serving that 4-game suspension, him being in the lineup. He's a seasoned veteran, spent some time with the Baltimore Ravens. We all know how the Baltimore Ravens are when it comes to offensive line. They love to run the football. So I think that he will fit very well on the offensive line rotation. So the Saints should be fine without Andrus Peat, man. Andrus Peat, we know that he's a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. But eventually, he'll come back into the lineup, and I'm pretty sure everything's going to be okay. But let's talk about Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport, man, he's listed as questionable. But once again, it's a strong possibility that he's going to play. Look, man, I like Marcus Davenport. I think he has a lot of promise. If you checked out the State of the Saints podcast, special guest Mike Detillier was on the show. He talked about Marcus Davenport and his upside and his ability and his skill set, but we rarely ever see that, okay? All this is right now just pure speculation, okay? We just see flashes of him. It's like a lunar eclipse or something like that, or a Halley's Comet. I mean, you have to just be there to see it. I mean, it's not going to always be there all the time. So Marcus Davenport, he does show flashes. The problem is he's never healthy. And if Marcus Davenport does come back to the lineup this Monday, he should be a backup to Trey Hendrickson. Look, Trey Hendrickson has been doing an outstanding job. In my opinion, the Saints overachiever, okay? Trey Hendrickson has been doing the best job on that defensive line, even better than Cam Jordan. I mean, he has more quarterback pressures, he has more quarterback hurries, and he has more sacks than anybody on that line. So in Marcus Davenport, if he is healthy, he can come back into the game, but you do not replace him with Trey Hendrickson, because Trey Hendrickson is doing an outstanding job. You put Marcus Davenport in. You put him in on a snap count. If he starts to ball out, then you put him in with more plays. But by no means do you trade him out for Trey Hendrickson, because I know they say, life is not fair, but this definitely wouldn't be fair, because you're you're sitting down the guy that's giving your defensive line the best production. You know what I'm saying? He's the most productive guy on the defensive line. So I wouldn't replace him for anything. You know what I'm saying? So Marcus Davenport, hopefully he can come back into the game. Also, Jared Cook, man. The Saints, they really rely on the tight ends. We didn't see Adam Troutman at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm very concerned about that, Who Dat Nation. I'm very concerned that a guy that is known for being a very good pass blocker and a guy that's also good with his hands, a good pass catcher tight end, has seen very little of the field. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, I looked at him and I said during the offseason that this guy is one of those guys they said be the next George Kittle or Rob Gronkowski. But, no OTAs, no minicamp, and we all know how the Saints do with their tight ends, and we know that Drew Brees, he likes to have that type of chemistry with his tight ends. So Adam Troutman doesn't have that chemistry just yet, and he's not too familiar with the playbook. So I kind of understand that, but at the same time, man, we have to make sure that we get this young kid involved, man, even if it's in goal line situations. We definitely want to get this guy involved. But when it comes to Jared Cook, man, when him playing, I don't think you need to rush him back either. You know what I'm saying? If he got this growing pull, look, leave him out. Like I said, man, this is a game going into the bye week. So if you're not sure about a guy, just go ahead and leave him out, man. Just go ahead and leave him out. Just let them go ahead and heal. And we don't have to worry about them, being re-injured down the line, because we're going to need these guys down the stretch, man. As the schedule starts to get more and more tough, man, we're going to start playing teams like the 49ers and the Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to need these guys to be fully healthy, man, down the stretch, and especially having a very early bye week, man. So get these guys straight, man. Don't worry about putting Jared Cook in if he's dealing with a growing injury. Like I said, I pretty much covered everybody when it came to the injury report and being questionable. Emmanuel Sanders, he talked a little bit to the media, and he used Mike Thomas, in a present tense. We all know that Sean Payton likes to keep injuries under wrap. When his players go into the interviews, they're very close-mouthed about their injury status, any of the teammates' injury status. But Emmanuel Sanders, I guess he didn't get the memo, man, because he kept on using Michael Thomas in a present tense. So a lot of people feel like that is indication that Michael Thomas is going to play. But, you never know. We all know that Emmanuel Sanders, he's his own person, man. I know Emmanuel Sanders. I've seen him on ESPN First Take, and I've never really seen any Saints player ever, really just take the media into the locker room. It was during the time he was talking about, during the time when, the whole Drew Brees situation happened and him having to apologize to the teammates. And he told everybody what was going on, which was shocking to me. So Emmanuel Sanders using Michael Thomas in the present tense, a lot of people feel like they may be an indication that he might play. But once again, man, you do not want to put Michael Thomas out there. You do not want to put him out there, put him in harm's way, him re-aggravate that ankle, and then mess around, have to get surgery and be out for the rest of the year. I do not want that. I know you don't want that. And it's very important that Michael Thomas is with the New Orleans Saints down the stretch in order for them to get the success that they need and possible, stay pace with the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If the Saints win this game against the Los Angeles Chargers, they are number one. They're in first place once again in the NFC South, because we know that Tampa lost to the Chicago Bears, and we know the Saints beat them in week 1. This would put the Saints at 3-2. This would put Tampa at 3-2. Carolina would be at 3-2 if they were to win, but the Saints would be in first place. And we want to make sure that we win these games. We want to make sure that these are the type of games that, we don't want to give up. This is a home game, even though there's not going to be crowd, man. Mayor Cantrell, she decided to deny the Saints' request of having the Superdome at 25% capacity, which I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on down there. It seems like she's ruling that city with an iron fist right now. You see other places opening up. I mean, I seen Florida, for God's sakes. Florida was a hot spot, okay? I mean, I don't think Wi-Fi give you a better hot spot than Florida was. But you see fans at Tampa Bay games. You see fans at Jacksonville games. But I know a lot of people argue, say, well, those are outside venues. But at the same time, man, look, if you're practicing social distancing, if you're doing, the right things that need to be done in order for you to, make sure everybody is safe, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have people all on top of each other like sardines, but, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure they're practicing social distancing, man. I just feel like the Saints team, these guys are the type of squad that needs the energy of the Who Dat Nation. Some teams, they bring their own energy. They do a good job with that. But you have other teams out here, man, who, they struggle. You know what I'm saying? They need that loud venue, man. They need people pumping in that noise, you know what I'm saying? And not that Atlanta Falcon automatic crowd noise, you know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. I'm talking about like legitimate fans, you know what I'm saying, that you can see when you run out, you know what I'm saying? You can see the fire and the passion in their eyes. Some people need that, man. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, if you look across the landscape of the National Football League's defenses are down right now. Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we all know when it comes to like when we're at home and the defense is out there, man, we try to be as loud as we can to try to throw off the offense. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why a lot of defenses in the National Football League have been struggling this season, because they feed off that energy in order for them to fly around the field. And, I think the Saints are missing that greatly. But like I said, man, I just hope that we just find a solution to this problem. Eventually, the people will come back into the Superdome where we can, blow the roof off the joint, be loud, be crazy. It definitely would be needed on Monday, because the Los Angeles Chargers, I know people may look at their record. They may look at the rookie, the young kid, Justin Herbert, and they may be licking their chops or something like that. But this young kid has an arm. He's extremely talented. He makes all the right reads. He is a guy, man, that is going to be a gamer for years to come. I think the Chargers made a very good decision. I can see him and Patrick Mahomes vying for the AFC West for years to come, because Justin Herbert is a special kid, man. Now, they don't have Austin Eckler. Of course, we know that he's out. Melvin Ingram, he's out, for the rest of the season. They have Kenneth Murray, the rookie out of Oklahoma, which a lot of Saints fans wanted the Saints to grab him. We know that they have Joey Bosa, the brother of Nick Bosa. He's out there, man, terrorizing. So these guys, man, they play with a lot of fire, man. And it's not one of those teams where, they're going to go away. This is a 4-quarter team, okay? Even when they're down, this team still battles. And once again, man, when you're going up against a young rookie, man, I mean, he going to go out there and let it fly, man. Monday Night Football, going up against a legend like Drew Brees. But we know that Drew Brees, he always brings it when he goes up against the Chargers, man. This is the team that drafted him, even though they're in Los Angeles now. This is still, like the same ownership that was in place when he was drafted. So it's always something special, for Drew Brees when he goes and plays the Chargers, because this is a team, man, that gave up on him. This is a team that didn't believe in him, and they decided to draft Phillip Rivers, because they felt like Drew Brees wasn't the guy. And, Drew Brees messed his shoulder up, and we all know the rest is history, He comes to New Orleans, and now he's who he is. But he always plays hard. He always plays with passion. And, it's always something personal when it comes to Drew Brees and the Chargers. On the next podcast, I would be giving a prediction score. What would the score be of the New Orleans Saints versus Los Angeles Chargers game? And that will be live. So I want to say thank you all very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And the previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. please take a few minutes of your time to subscribe to one of those streaming apps. I can see that it's growing, and I want to say thank you all very much for your support and continue to support the State of the Saints podcast. And once again, the show will be live on next time. And I apologize once again. I know normally I do shows live, but I had something to do tonight. So I want to say thank you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow live. Till next time, all I got to say is